have three guests here in our studio at Flow Motion in Brooklyn, New York, and they represent Darcheinu. They, in fact, are called the Darcheinu panel. Mrs. Shira Berkowitz is here, the program director. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Rabbi Yisroel Grossberg is Rabbinic Educational Director. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Rabbi Avi Landa is here, LCPC Director of Education. Darcheinu and Our Path, SEL, are culturally aligned, clinically informed social emotional learning, that's SEL, social emotional learning programs developed specifically for the Jewish community. Darcheinu serves the yeshiva and charedi communities. Our Path serves the broader Jewish day school and modern Orthodox world, and together they form the first fully built Torah-guided SEL curriculum spanning grades 5 through 12 with post-high school tracks for yeshivas and seminaries. These are not one-time workshops or assemblies. They are structured, sequenced, multi-year programs that embed essential emotional and life skills into a child's education. And I would say to the entire panel, boy, have we come a long way as a community, to say the least. Mrs. Berkowitz, we'll start with you. Tell me more about what you teach in Darcheinu and in a typical Our Path SEL class.
Sure. So Darcheinu and Our Path SEL are taught as a once-a-week class, so it's about a 30 to 40-minute period for every single week, 5th through 12th grade and post-seminary. The kinds of topics that we cover, so social emotional learning encompasses 3 skill sets. Skill set number 1 is your personal skill set. That's everything I need to be a healthy person. So we're looking at things like emotion regulation, including stress, anger management. We're looking at healthy decision-making, which affects everything that we do. Goal setting, self-awareness, healthy body image. Once we're healthy ourselves, we move into the second skill set, which is your social skill set. Everything I need to be able to interact with others in a healthy way. So those are all of your social skills, your communication skills. My favorite, conflict resolution. I always tell my students, this is literally the secret to having healthy relationships for the rest of your life. If you
and a 7th grader, for example, can internalize all of this?
We start teaching it in 6th grade, and we bring it down to their level.
Well, I'm just giving an example. Yeah. That's amazing.
We use a 6th grade example for 6th grade, and we use a marriage example when we talk about seminary.
I mean, when I grew up, they said there's nothing better than conflict, and here we're trying to resolve and make sure that people are socially dealing with things properly. Yeah. Really, it's amazing. Rabbi Landa, what does a Darcheinu, Our Path SEL class look like, and do you do anything that's actually interactive with the students?
Sure. So because we want to appeal to all age groups, we need to make it super interactive.
Right.
We need to make sure that there's buy-in from the kids. One of the things that I like to say about the beauty of SEL curriculum is actually outside the abbreviation SEL, but that it's a curriculum. When we teach things and we repeat it in different venues and different formats and then upgrade it in the maturity level from year to year, that's really how a child can learn these skills and really internalize them. So we want to try to make the classes interactive so that they're memorable. Many times
Does that mean fun at all?
Yes, it can mean
Seriously?
fun. Seriously, it can mean fun. Many times the memory that they'll get that will stay with them is that fun activity that was in some of the classes. Just as a couple of examples, we are doing some vaping education for the kids at a younger age already. We want them to understand the dangers involved. And so one idea that we're putting into the curriculum now is to actually get a kid to volunteer who can hold their breath for a long time. So everyone likes to compete a little bit. And one child will come up, they'll hold their breath maybe for a minute, and then I'll tell them, okay, now let's refresh, and now try holding your breath again while you're doing jumping jacks. And it's a really fun visual. The Rabbanim like to see it, kind of their Talmidim do it, like put pictures in their newsletter. And the child can hold their breath for less than half the amount of time because they're using up the oxygen in their lungs. So again, just a cute, fun way to give over the idea that when we jeopardize the lungs, obviously the jumping jacks is healthy, but when we do it in an unhealthy way and it sticks with us even long after we've stopped, it's something that can cause big problems. One prop that I actually brought in for you, Nachum, is when we talk about...
And we discovered something interesting about this prop. I'll discuss in a minute. Go ahead, introduce it to everybody.
These are actually colloquially called drunk goggles. So these mimic the visual impairment.
You would use this with which grades? All of them?
Definitely in high school.
Right.
Definitely in high school. It can be used with younger children as well, but
But
definitely
those
in high
more
school.
prone to drinking and all
is
that, right?
More prone to that and to driving.
Right.
This is particularly in terms of education and awareness and prevention regarding drinking and driving, which we know is such a huge,
Deadly
and a huge problem, and has tremendous emotional consequences beyond what we can imagine. And so we use this as a super fun way that we teach, obviously, all the information. We have some videos that we show, and then we allow one of the children to volunteer in front of the class. We make a path with some tape on the floor, and we have them walk the line wearing these goggles, mimicking the visual impairment. I'd actually invite you to just put them on for a
now, I
second.
did this before, and I want to tell the audience, because maybe not everybody understands the danger of drinking. But I put these on earlier, and I could do it right now for a moment, because we joked about whether I would put these on during this show and then try to stand up and walk. I could barely sit and keep these on, frankly, and there's no way in the world I could stand up while wearing these. And you said that there's a formula, meaning that if someone has how many drinks?
These goggles are designed. There's different goggles. These specifically are designed for about 6 or 7 drinks, and the visual impairment that's associated with that. A drink. Again, this is part of the education. Can be a shot of whiskey, a glass of wine, a bottle of beer.
Right, the whole thing. You know what's interesting is that, and I'm sorry I continuously refer back to my era, but if this type of education or program would have been around, then those kids that I knew who were smoking in summer camp would probably have gone in a different direction when it comes to that. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, 100%.
Unbelievable. Thank God we have this now.
Prevention is the key. Yeah.
Rabbi Grossberg, we say Darcheinu is Torah-based. So far, our guests have described what an effective SEL curriculum is all about. Where does the Torah come into this whole system?
Right. So you heard really some really great stuff, right?
Yeah.
But then the question is, how do you get it into the yeshivas?
Right.
How do you get
make it relevant to our
culturally sensitive, but yet at the same time, also for the child to understand?
Mm-hmm.
A lot, ein davar chadash tachas hashemesh. A lot of what we're seeing that people are learning now through various different psychological methodologies, etc., are really, they're from Chazal. And every part of the curriculum brings in really something beautiful, whether it be from a Michtav Meliyahu, whether it be from the
Chumash. Give us an example of that? Like, I don't want to do it on the spot.
Yeah, it's just funny because I was looking before just about self-actualization, right? So the idea of atzmi, and this was really, I am to teach the curriculum as well, so in seminary. And seminary, it's a time where a girl is really kind of finding their way. Up until now, they haven't necessarily been an individual.
And really examining their whole existence more than in high school.
Right. Yeah. And so self-actualization, kind of, feeling your way around. Rav Wolbe Zatzal in Ali Shur has such a beautiful piece about understanding who you are, getting to know yourself. And to go through that together with this, it's, it's kind of Musar Shmooze, but it's all evidence-based.
And it fits
so
right in.
It kind of, it has, and we want to be able to go to yeshiva and not have them question the validity, not have them question.
Right.
The reality of the community is that
we have Jewish sources.
People are skeptical. People are skeptical. People hear, SEL, what does that mean? But when they really see that the quote unquote the proof is in the pudding in terms of what is there, and then one other point to bring out is that the reality is as the outside world moves a little bit further and further away from our values, it becomes that much more important to have something that yeshivas are comfortable with. Maybe there was a time where you go online, you can find an SEL program for maybe, we hear this. Find something for half the price. I said, are you comfortable? Look at it. Are you comfortable teaching that in your class? You just, without going into various specifics, it's not the time, but, there's...
And we're here with Amudim and always discussing how so many problems in the general community seep into our community. It's a reality, and it's got to be dealt with. And if you could do it while you add the whole Torah component to it, it's only beneficial, obviously, to everybody. This is for everybody and anybody who wants to address this. Do you need buy-in from the parents? Because I can imagine there's some parents who would be like, do me a favor, my kid never heard of vaping, don't introduce the concept to them, et cetera, et cetera. Is that, and that's just one example I'm giving, is that an issue? Anybody?
I think part of the comprehensive program, I didn't mean to jump in.
No, please.
Is that we offer support. In other words, when a school takes the Darcheinu program, they take one of us along with it. Right. And we offer support. For example, we will come down to meet with the parents. We have parent letters prepared to go out to the parents to discuss. In other words, it's not just, here's the curriculum, hatzlacha, and we'll see you. But we're
Go
really,
home and tell your parents what you heard.
Right. No, and specifically before the more sensitive
Serious, right.
topics, there's even letters that go out again, that we've written for the schools to send out so that parents are aware. And if parent dafka doesn't want their child in for that class, they might have that option. But generally speaking, I think parents are realizing this day and age.
Of course.
Everyone
How did the
needs
three of you become experts in SEL? Like, is there a curriculum that you have to go to and you have to keep up with? I assume it's something you do have to keep up with because things are ever changing, no?
Yep.
Please.
Just to add to what Rabbi
Sure.
Grossberg said, we train and we supervise every single teacher. And your question is a great question. That's part of the training. We talk about how we find that balance between empowering our children with knowledge, but at the same time not exposing them to new things.
Wow.
And we talk about that, and then in supervision, we're always like juggling what these students have to know. And that's why we have Our Path SEL for modern Orthodox community schools and Darcheinu for the more charedi schools.
Because everybody's being exposed to different things in
Yeah.
their community.
Yeah.
And the curriculum is fully customizable. So we can have two different schools and they'll speak to us and we'll customize the curriculum for them, for their needs, for whatever they might be concerned about.
Right, because certain things may have hit one school that has not hit others, and they need to address that.
But if I could just put out a statement, every fifth grader has heard of vaping.
Simple as that.
Let's just say that.
And we're talking about every avenue of our community.
Oh, yes. Yes.
It's unbelievable, I'll tell you. We're here for Amudim. The three of you are certainly on the front lines of preventative measures and trying your hardest to do what you can for the children and families. Anybody want to address why it's important to support this cause and how they're there on the front lines for everybody?
Yeah, one thing that I'll just add, you referenced it, is how much we need to stay current and update the curriculum, and that requires a lot. It's not just you buy the curriculum the way in which it was developed years ago and you just take it and use it. It's something that needs to stay current and needs to update. We're working on made from scratch Darcheinu animation series videos for the Torah community, for the Torah day schools. We need to stay current in terms of the curriculum topics, and we're constantly writing curriculum and updating curriculum. So in order to do that, it takes a lot of resources, and we're fortunate to partner with Amudim, to have Amudim really guiding us every step of the way and supporting us, but we need all the support we can get.
Because we've been talking about, again, preventative measures, getting into the schools, doing programs that, as you described, and I wanted to be clear because Gabi just messaged me and he's right. I should have mentioned that this Darcheinu is an Amudim project.
Exactly.
And if we talk about Amudim formalizing this entire piece, they've done it with this organization or this arm of the organization. So when you're supporting Amudim and you're going ahead and tossing in a few dollars or more to tonight's effort to get to our goal, you are supporting real prevention in schools and helping them expose in a proper way, all these experts expose in a proper way, our children to what they need to be aware of and how to deal with these situations. All of you should be lauded for that. Robbie, you wanted to add something?
I just want to say, like Tzvi likes to say, that as Darcheinu becomes more successful, we'll put Amudim out of business.
Let's hope. God, I hope that comes true.
But that's the goal.
100%. So finally, how do you know the program is successful? Again, for any and all of you, how do you know that it's successful in the long run? I know we're going toward closing down Amudim. That would be a great show of success. But what can you tell us practically that you see the results of all this?
Unfortunately, it's not going to close down Amudim. There's always going to be, unfortunately, abuse and mental illness and dysfunction. However, I do believe that for the majority, for Rov Am, for the majority of our students who come hopefully from healthy families, this prevention really should impact tremendously. I can give you both just general stats and then kind of anecdotal.
Please.
But general, Our Path, social emotional learning statistics out there, and there's been a lot of data on this. Students that have a comprehensive SEL curriculum, it's been proven they get better grades, are less in therapy, are less on drugs, get into better colleges, have lower rates of divorce down the line. Going back to our conflict resolution that I was telling you about, one of my favorites that I'm most passionate about.
That's years later.
Years later, it's been proven. It's been proven also that for every dollar spent in prevention in SEL in the classroom, we're looking at saving $11 of intervention. But anecdotally, I will tell you that I'm teaching social emotional learning curriculum for 22 years in the Jewish schools. This is really my passion, and I can share so many stories, but the amount of students that have come forth and shared with me, whether they're struggling, their friends are struggling, and have then gotten help for budding eating disorders or anxiety or whatever it may be. But one specific story, and I've shared it before on camera a couple years ago, I think. A student called a few years after she graduated. She called the office looking for me, and I gave her a call back, and she said, "Hey, Mrs. Berkowitz, do you remember a number of years ago in 12th grade when we talked about how to look for the signs of control and abuse when you're dating?" She said, "Can you go through that again with me? Because I lost that handout you gave me, and I'm dating someone, and I think I'm seeing some of those red flags." So we spoke. I went through the list with her. We processed, and she said, "Mrs. Berkowitz, I think I need to break up with him." We don't always get to know the end of the story, not with my students, not with my clients, but I did see her months later. I was teaching in elementary school, and she came to pick up her younger sister. And I said, "Hey, so-and-so, so great to see you." Gave her a big hug, and then I saw a ring on her finger. And I said, "You're engaged." She's glow on her face. I said, "Tell me about your chassan." And she said, "Mrs. Berkowitz, he treats me like a princess."
That's wonderful. That's great. A happy and wonderful way to wrap this up. I thank this distinguished panel, and you all join me in asking everybody to support Amudim. And let's hope people can.
No-brainer.
100%.
And I would just add that parents who are listening to the program, reach out to your schools. Let your schools know that you're aware of this program. Reach out to us. We're happy to share resources with the parents directly as well, but especially to
Well, if I would name a school, chances are you're already in there or not?
We're in a lot of schools, but
Not all of them.
No, definitely not. No.
Principals have to act. And as you just said, parents can make the recommendation. Wow, amazing. This distinguished panel joins me in asking everybody to continue to support Amudim and Darcheinu and continue to take preventative measures within our schools and within our community to help youngsters as young as 5th and 6th grade and all the way through high school and beyond to deal with situations in a proper way, in a constructive way, and really build a skill set that's valuable for the rest of their lives.